Hello Noisegate family, in today's video we're going to have a look at Korg's MPS-10, their new drum and sampling machine. Now I myself am a drummer and I'm quite partial to electronic music, so this thing is right up my alley. What it is exactly what the name suggests. It's a drum machine that you can load your own samples into. It comes with a hell of its own samples and one-shots, and you can play these all together in a lot of interesting ways. So we've got our 6 main pads here. We've got our 4 pads across the top, which you can map CC to, so you can send some things like filtering effects, and I'll get into that a bit later as well. If we pop the trunk along the back here, we've got a headphone output, we've got our master output, we've got our sub outputs, you've got some triggering inputs, you've got some foot switch and expression pedal inputs, you've got MIDI 5-pin out, you've got a USB in for a USB stick to load your own samples, and you also have a USB interface out so you can use it to interface with your PC. So the front panel here is where the magic really happens. You've got things like your main and headphone volume. You can turn your metronome on and off and set your BPM. You've got your main encoder here, which allows you to scroll through and select all the parameters that you need to. Certain buttons like your edit, write, your exit or back. You've got a sound off, which is a bit of a panic button. So if you've got a lot of loops going or you made a mistake, you can hit that to just kill the whole set. And then you've got your different pages or modes, such as your instrument and your kit. And then you've got your looper effects, your recording, your erase, your switch mode to switch to that MIDI CC. And then that brings us to what I think is one of the coolest parts of the MPS-10, the looping section. So what you have here is you've got 4 different looping lanes essentially that you can record to, and you can also overdub them. So you have infinite looping capabilities. Now I'm not going to go too far into this looping section. I'm going to do a bit of a more in-depth video later, but essentially the reason I love this section so much is not because you can just loop, but it allows you to switch between different drum kits and keep the loops going. So I can go to a drum kit with some percussion, make a loop from that, and then head to like a techno or a drum bass kit and make a new loop over that percussion loop, so I can combine these kits, overdub, and create entire songs with all of the samples and one-shots that the MPS-10 has to offer. So I reckon I'm just going to get into a bit of playing here because I've talked enough and I've got my drumsticks here and I want to have a bit of a bash. I'm just going to scroll through here to a kit that I've been having some fun with called Breakin', and we can just have a bit of fun. Pretty nifty. I'm going to say another couple of things that I've really enjoyed about the MPS-10. Number one is these pads are very sturdy. I've been beating this thing like it owes me money, and there is still really not much of a sign that I've been hitting it with drumsticks. I still have a really nice, I mean, you got a bit of dust on here, but well and truly I was expecting there to be little marks where the drumsticks hit it, so I can tell that this is a pretty durable piece of kit. The next one is that it's very responsive. I think this is really important. I use things like a machine a lot, and one of the reasons I love that so much is because the pads are responsive. They go as fast as my fingers can. It's the same with the MPS-10. I can, and it keeps up. I don't have any lag. I don't lose any hits. Now, I'm not saying that I'm an incredibly fast drummer. However, I'm not slow, and the MPS-10 can keep up with what I do, even if it's complex patterns like a flam triplet. Pretty sick. Next, we'll go to another kit that I've been having a lot of fun with because I've recently fallen in love with drum and bass. And they have this one preset kit here called Drum and Bass Loop 2, and I can use this to show that MIDI control of, say, like a filter over these top pads. So if I start this loop, what I can do is if I want to get a little bit more moody, I've now engaged that filter. And as I move down these pads, the filter will open up. And it's not even per pad, it's actually the whole length. You can see right here, this green bar moves. So then I'll switch to the next one. And then I can open it up and then go. Once again, Very dope. Could be doing that for hours, just having fun playing with that. And then I could do what I said before, where I could loop that, start going into other kits and really just build an entire song using these 4 looping lanes and these pads. Here's another pretty saucy kit that I think Korg have included with the MPS-10. A lot of lushness going on here, like, where am I? I'm not in the studio. I'm floating on a cloud, swimming. And then when everyone's feeling real loose, I can just come back to